and so let our night begin. And as you know, we always meet at night, out of respect of the goddess of the night, Nyx, whose daughter we cherish, who brings us together and unites us as friends and followers of Nemesis. While Themis concerns herself with what balance looks like, it's Nemesis who fixes the weights, who balances the scales, and who redistributes that which was distributed wrongly to achieve that balance. When Themis would come down to Earth from Olympia to her temple in Rhamnus, she was roomies with Nemesis, and while Themis wasn't one for conflict, Nemesis was quite to the contrary. Themis may have been the goddess of justice, but Nemesis was her sword. You see, Nemesis isn't just blind vengeance or revenge, she is the embodiment of striving for justice. And what's happening now is nothing more than the story of Echo and Narcissus repeating itself once more in history. You see, Narcissus, or Narcissos, as he is known to the Greeks, was a hunter by profession, and when Echo first came upon Narcissus while he was out hunting with his friends, she was taken by a great desire for him. However, she had been previously cursed to only be able to speak the last words spoken to her, and felt reluctant to approach him as a consequence. However, when Echo finally built up the courage to confront Narcissus, he was disgusted by her. And while Narcissus, as anyone, certainly has the right to love whom he pleases, his pride drove him to an overly harsh rejection of Echo, proclaiming he would rather die than allow her to enjoy his body. And though unrequited, Echo's love for him only grew. The other nymphs, not being able to bear watching Echo suffer, prayed that Narcissus would fall in just as deep and just as unrequited a love as Echo had. And to answer their prayers, Nemesis simply lured Narcissus to a pond where he encountered his reflection. Not recognizing it as himself, Narcissus withered away, entranced before his own reflection. And though Echo was immortal, she slowly turned to stone as she mourned him. You see, it would be easy to fall down the slippery slope of painting Narcissus as the victim, being punished for rejecting Echo's love. However, the simplicity with which Nemesis chose for Narcissus to meet with justice highlights the true character flaws for which Narcissus was being punished. Nemesis merely lured Narcissus to a pond and set the stage for the pride, egocentricity, and self-love of Narcissus himself to be his own downfall. Those same things which caused him to blindly and carelessly hurt others without any empathy or compassion. For it was also not Echo's wrongdoing to fall in love with Narcissus, taken by the worldly beauty and materialism he symbolized, those things which so many in today's world also find so attractive. But it was the wrongdoing of Narcissus to reject her love so harshly, full of pride and with neither empathy nor compassion. And clearly also, if the self-love of Narcissus hadn't been so great, he wouldn't have met his end by withering away beside his own reflection. And just as then, prayers ring once more for Nemesis. Prayers for our world to be brought out of the darkness, out of the chaos. Prayers for the hunt of the modern-day Narcissus plaguing our world to be brought to an end. We all know the many faces of Narcissus and the sheep who echo their words. But what of Nemesis? How will she choose to exact justice? There are those who say the way forward is through the global economy. The very word economy has evolved much over the centuries, coming from the Greek words ekos, meaning house, and namin, generally simplified to mean manage, as it relates to the word economy, but more properly relating to distributions, such as the word bienemo, meaning distribute, and bienomi, meaning distribution. You see, namen is a complicated word, one which even our goddess Nemesis draws her name from, as it can also mean paying one their due, or distributing that which is owed. It was only later the perception of Nemesis evolved to become that of blind rage, vengeance, revenge, but such a perception was only a propagation of those not wanting to face consequences, those in denial that consequences of one's actions are just. No matter how times change, there should always be consequences. There must always be consequences. Order must be preserved and balance achieved, or at least the striving for that balance must be continued, no matter how hopeless it may seem at times. Those who fear Nemesis merely fear consequences. You see, Narcissus would have us believe that true balance is him achieving his will and that consequences are hateful, violent things. However, While others are attracted to the worldly beauty and materialism he symbolizes, his focus is only on his prey, and his motivations are purely self-serving. Narcissus feigns empathy and compassion, only using them as mechanisms to achieve his goals, to further his hunt, as bait to lure his prey, as any hunter would. And so is the path forward economy? Sure, but not in the sense of money, trade, commerce. I subscribe more to the older definition of the word, from the Greek word oikonomia, from the words eikos and nemen, house, and manage. Real change happens within the realm of Hestia, goddess of the hearth and home, and as one manages their home, so too is their country managed. Just as self-assembling nanostructures form, nanoparticles have no understanding of the big picture. They only are what they are, and by being what they are, when they come together, they naturally form these structures. And in the same way, as we manage our households properly, so too our nations self-assemble out of the chaos. Just as you come to my home, and in turn you invite others to your home, and they invite others to their home, and so on, that is how we make change. And though my family's home was constructed as a temple for the gods, true Olympus resides within our hearts. We are always among gods and goddesses. Not only is each and every one of us a temple, but within our very hearts is the true Olympus.